Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Politics, sponsored by the Dallas Examiner. I am Christy Thomas, the coordinator for tonight's event. Tonight I want to give the candidates and the audience a few housekeeping guidelines to ensure that the forum moves smoothly so we can provide a space that is safe and conducive to learn about each candidate and their platform. I will start with candidates. Candidates, you will have 2 minutes for your opening statement, 1 minute to answer any question from the moderator and the audience, and 2 minutes for your closing statement. Our guest timekeeper tonight is Mr. Ruben Griffin. Please give him a hand. He will provide a placard to inform you of the time you have left to answer questions given from the moderator and the audience. Candidates, this time should be spent talking about how you will implement your plan and goal for the seat if you are elected. Your time should not be spent talking about your opponent and their shortfalls or issues. Please remain respectful throughout the forum and respect the space that has been donated to us for the purpose of educating our community on political candidates. Now for the audience. We're so thankful for your presence today. We ask that you formulate your question where it pertains to all candidates. You will be allowed 1 minute to ask a question, and only one question can be asked to allow time for others in the audience to ask questions. If you have a pending case or any type of litigation with any candidate that will be on the forum tonight, we ask that you don't ask any questions in regards to a case that you have pending or one that has been adjudicated. Thank you. Now, again, please be respectful to prevent any interruption that could cause us to run out of time and not hear from the candidates. Any member of the audience should line up to my right and you will be provided a microphone so that everyone will hear the question being asked to all of the candidates. I want to thank you in advance for your cooperation and for your interest in being more informed about candidates running for office in your community. The Dallas Examiner has been presenting Monday Night Politics, Meet the Candidate, for over 18 years prior to major elections. I want to stress that all candidates are invited through email invitation. These candidates are pulled from the official ballot provided by the state of Texas. The Dallas Examiner does not endorse candidates. We could not do this alone. Our sponsors are nonprofit organizations, too many to name, all the Black sororities and fraternities, the NAACP chapter, the Links, and the African American Museum. Now for our moderator. Our moderator tonight is Eric Wilson. He is no stranger to our political climate. His career in politics started when he was elected to the Dallas City Council in 2015, where he represented District 8. His tenure on the council included serving as Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. His educational background includes a bachelor's degree in finance from the University of Texas at Arlington and an MBA from Amherst University. He remains committed to working with and preserving the diverse landscape in his community of District 8 and addressing economic disparities within the community where he still resides. Please help me welcome him to Monday Night Politics. Lastly, please silence your phones, and video recording is prohibited for this event. And please do not take pictures as well. On behalf of Molly Belt and the Dallas Examiner, we would like to thank you again for attending Monday Night Politics, Meet the Candidate.
All right, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
First of all, let me just say thank you for being here. Thank you to the candidates that are here tonight. We know that early voting has already started, and a large number of people have already voted. This is 3-4 times the 24-22 primary season, so that means that the word has gotten out. Now, what I will ask that not only do we vote, but we multiply our vote. And how you multiply your vote, you simply take someone with you. I always like to say, friends don't let friends vote alone. Take someone with you, okay? So if you can find 5 friends, I have 10. I've already done my 10. So if you have 5, take your 5, take your 7, take your 12 with you. Multiply your vote, and that's what's being done. Secondly, I want to thank everyone throughout the course of Monday Night Politics, whether this is your first night or you've been with us each night. Thank you for your participation. Without you, we could not do this. To the candidates, again, thank you for coming out and being part of this. I know, again, that early voting has started, and some may feel that why do this? It's already voting. Even though a lot of people have voted, there are still people who don't know who to vote for. And still people who are waiting to see what this person has to say. So thank you for being here tonight to share your experiences. Thank you to my lovely Christy for her assistance in helping keep things in order. To the Dallas Examiner staff, Ms. Molly Bell, thank you for this. All of the sponsors, thank you for your support, what you're doing tonight. I love the ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Thank you for your assistance. All right, let's get to the nitty gritty. Just to reiterate, candidates, when you come up, please stand right here, about in this area, or you may want to go side to side, but the camera's right here. The lighting is great right here. And I know you may be tempted to turn towards me to answer a question I may ask you. Please, I ask that you address the audience for your answers, okay? All right, and this is the time again. This is the time for you to talk about your campaign. Your campaign. If you, for whatever reason, begin to talk about your opponent, we will stop you. That will cut into your time. It may even end your session. All right. So, audience, again, for you, you have a 1-minute time period to ask your questions. This is not the time for us to give in the beginning, God so created and how it formulates your question. Don't want to hear it. Ask your question. And in any event that your question is long, you have a long build-up, you have a long crescendo, I will say, what is your question? Okay? So don't let that happen. We've had great crowds. Again, well, thank you for the African American Museum allowing us to be here to provide this valuable service to our community, to inform the community of the candidates, and for the audience to learn who the candidates are. So with that, just one other thing I want to remind you that there is no filming, no taping, and you will be able to get a copy of tonight's form by going to DallasExaminer.com tomorrow, where you'll be able to look at not only tonight's but previous races as well. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so our first race tonight, candidates for criminal court number 9, Carrie Singleton and Priscilla Villarreal. Say it one more time. Villarreal, there we go. I tried. I'm going to get it right. All right. So, ladies, we'll begin with our 2-minute opening. And we'll start with you, Ms. Singleton.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carrie Singleton, and I am running for County Criminal Court number 9. Thank you, Ms. Bell. Thank you to the Dallas Examiner for allowing us this opportunity. I have been dedicated to public service since I was a little. I am the daughter of a minister, and so it's pretty much instilled in me since I was young. It's what I do. It's what I do. And I've dedicated my career to public service as an assistant public defender for the past 12 years, having the privilege to represent everyone from all walks of life. I have tried approximately 50 trials, first chair or second chair, and I've also handled cases from Class B misdemeanors up to felonies, up to capital murder, with the capital murder division in Dallas, at the Dallas County Public Defender's Office. I am looking to take my experience to the bench to be a judge for all, number one. Not just any particular group, but a judge for everyone. I want to make sure that everybody is treated fairly and equitably, and I say equitably because not everyone is at the same starting point. You may have someone who's a first-time offender opposed to someone who has been there multiple times. So we're not going to give them the same thing. So we want to make sure that everybody is treated fairly and equitably. But then I also want to make sure that everybody is treated with respect and dignity that they deserve. I want them to have the opportunity to have their day in court, no matter who you are, whether you are the victim, whether you are the defendant, whether you're a family member. And then I also want to make sure that the court runs efficiently and effectively. Again, my name is Carrie Singleton. I am running for County Criminal Court number 9, and I look forward to speaking to you. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Thank you all for your time. I know these numbers have been impressive. I think we've all been very inspired. So I thank you for taking time to be here today. Thank the Dallas Examiner for inviting us as well. My name is Priscilla Villarreal. I'm running for Dallas County Criminal Court number 9. I was born and raised here in Dallas to a single mother who's here tonight with a big sister and my family. I made the decision to run for office because I've dedicated my career to be community-centered. I kicked off my career in immigration law, representing juveniles as young as 3 years old during the first Trump administration. I felt that my need was to be at the forefront and know exactly what's happening within our communities. I later went off to work at the city prosecution here in Dallas, where I ensured that every pro se attorney, any one of them, was treated equally and fairly. That means that I made sure to educate any and every pro se in front of me of all their options. No one got more or better option if they were an attorney or not an attorney. I made sure if they were representing themselves, they were treated with respect. I then went off to work again in a nonprofit to expand our resources here in Dallas, and ultimately went to work at the Dallas Public Defender's Office, where I worked most recently under the misdemeanor division. I spent my time there specifically serving this court MCP in the bench. I know the need and the staff. I know how to proceed with the current docket and hit the ground running day one. I hope to serve with heart, compassion, and integrity, the skills and role model of my mom. I don't want to do this for ego, nor do I seek anything more than a humble consideration for your vote and for your time. Being part of Dallas community is loving our community and serving our community, and I feel strongly for that. And I hope and thank you for your time.
Yes, lady. So, if you're a second, it's going to come quick. So you just remain standing. The questions do come quick. All right. I think I'm going to do something a little different. Oftentimes, we have had a bunch of judges, races, and oftentimes the audience does not know what type of court cases go through that court. So if you would, give us your interpretation of the types of cases that you will be presiding over, and what qualifications you have to make you the best candidate for the court.
So this is a misdemeanor bench, meaning it is focused on Class A and Class B misdemeanors. Class A misdemeanors have a range of punishment up to $4,000 and 1 year in jail, and Class B has up to $2,000 fine that does not extend beyond 180 days. Now, type of cases range from criminal trespass, theft, above $100. You're looking at assault. There is some family violence involved in assault as well, bodily injury. And it was a very common in Dallas is a lot of DWIs, DWI seconds, DUIs 4 and 5. The resources I have is being bilingual, one. But outside of that, I've been in these courts every day. I'm in these courts every day. Having resigned my position, I've only expanded my knowledge in criminal law by now working in felony courts and understanding more of the needs and how things are done by different judges and the resources we have. And I hope to advocate for more programming to help specifically in the misdemeanor division. Thank you.
Okay, I have been assigned to misdemeanor courts. I first started out in Florida in the Family Violence Division, and then when I came to Dallas, back to Dallas, I was in the misdemeanor division about 2.5 years before I was promoted to felony. I have tried assault family violence cases. I have tried DWI cases. I have tried criminal theft cases. Most of your misdemeanor cases I have tried, including felony cases as well. My trial experience, if the trial is set, before we are elected to the bench, I'm ready to preside over that trial on day one. Again, Priscilla stated it's Class B, Class A misdemeanors, theft cases, DWI cases, assault cases. And I have tried those cases. I have move those cases, and I have been known to help reduce the dockets every court that I was assigned in, and I will be ready to do that in this court.
Great lead-in. My question. Misdemeanor courts handle the highest volume of cases in the system. What specific docket management techniques will you use to reduce the time from arrest to final disposition without sacrificing due process?
Yes, so in Florida, we had what was called first appearance, and someone that was arrested was brought before the judge within 24 hours. And I intend to put that into this court. Bring someone before the actual judge, not the magistrate, but the assigned judge, and address bond issues, address probable cause hearings, and also address indigency. That way they are given access to attorney within 24 hours. Also, I was assigned to Judge Kelly's court, where she had a criminal court that was a rocky docket. So misdemeanor cases in that court were resolved within 6 months. There's no reason why misdemeanor should be pending longer than that, unless it's an unusual circumstance. So I've had experience working a rocky docket, and I intend to implement that into this court as well.
So, in my career, from the beginning to now, I'm used to having high volume dockets. It's always been what I've been assigned to. And it's high volume, hundreds of immigration cases, having at different phases, pick them up and keep it moving and understand what's happening, and be able to explain that to someone in different language, different ages and understandings. So now being a prosecutor and defender, in misdemeanor, I was assigned specifically courts that had been needed to keep the cases moving, and that dealing not just English speaking, Spanish speaking, meaning I had to be able to understand the issue in English, be able to translate all of it in Spanish, and move it quickly. Now, an issue that's been occurring lately, the cases delay, is that they're not filed. And knowing that is implemented what's called a state, I believe to be a case status hearing. Maintaining the knowledge of what is happening in the cases and making sure and understanding that everyone is doing their due diligence and doing their job, and that's defense and the prosecution, putting every party accountable, and coming to the court, make sure communication is clear, because that matters most, which is defendants. It's their rights that need to be heard and make sure they're protected always. And that includes at time of arrest. Thank you.
All right. Next, Court 9 handles offenses like DWI and assault. How will you ensure your rulings balance the need for public safety with the goals of rehabilitation? Let me read that again. Court 9 handles offenses like DWI and assault. How will you ensure your rulings balance the need for public safety with the goals of rehabilitation of offenders?
So I think a lot here is also keeping in mind these case status hearings that we're attending, making sure the prosecutors are doing their due diligence and ensuring that they're in communication with the victims, hearing what the victims have to say, because not every assault case is going to be black and white. I've done as well as Class C, which is offensive contact, to the Class A, we have all the injury. There's a lot more at play. The same with DWIs. There's so much more circumstances as to what's happening with the person. Ultimately, you never want to forget the person at the heart of the matter. Is there something here about needing assistance, or needing help, or needing guidance? Is this a one-off, or is this something that is becoming habitual and we're catching it early enough to remedy the factor? Currently, misdemeanors only really have one diversion program, otherwise judges have to get creative. I'm hoping to advocate for more programs to ensure that we are able to give more resources to our community who is finding themselves in the criminal law system, many times for the first time, or they've been in and out of the system and haven't had someone willing to listen, help guide them. And it really takes us doing the work and holding everyone accountable as well.
All right. A judge has the power to change the trajectory of one's life. And so on these low-level offenses, I do believe in rehabilitation. A lot of times we can stop the revolving door if we can address the issue at the lower level case and then get them on a different path. So in the assault family violence case, Judge Kelly had intercepted, and she allowed those who had assault family violence cases to go through this program. Those cases were then dismissed and expunged. That way they were able to become successful members of society. So I do believe in rehabilitative programs, especially on the lower level, but we also must be mindful that there are victims in cases. And so we have to make sure that everyone has their day in court, that everyone has the opportunity to be heard. And while someone is deemed innocent until proven guilty. We can also protect the community by implementing bond conditions until the case is resolved. That way, if there's such as a adult family violence case, no contact, or removing certain people from the home. If it's a DWI, interlock devices. So we can balance both.
All right, thank you. Now, we come to the portion of our audience questions. So if you have a question, please come forward to my right.
Good evening, ladies. I have a quick question for you. When it comes to a Class A misdemeanor, it's from $750 to $2,500. So if someone is stealing $500 worth of merchandise, how would you dispose of that case if it came before you, and what? Yeah, because they're going to say it too. Thank you.
Okay, well, first, we would need to see if it's a first-time offender or not. If it's a first-time offender, let's look at trying to do a conditional dismissal, some type of anti-theft class, or address whatever the underlying issue is as to why they're possibly stealing. If it's someone who has been there a few times on a theft case, typically if they've been there a few times with the theft case, it gets enhanced to a felony, but sometimes not always. So if they have been there before, let's look at some other type of issue, because a permanent conviction does have collateral consequences that can mess someone up for the rest of their lives. So it depends on the type of person, the person that's before us, how many times they've been there, and we would have to address it accordingly.
So I think a factor is playing roles here. As a judge, I have to make sure I stay in my lane, right? I want justice and maintain balance, but I don't get to determine the offers that a prosecution will make. I can encourage and advocate for programs to give prosecutors more options on how to better decide how to resolve a matter. Just like Ms. Nicholson said, if it's a first-time offender, or habitual, or learning resources. But those are conversations. The best a judge can do is ensure they're in front of that person, if it's visible that maybe bond conditions need to be applied to help protect them and the community. Is it a circumstance where we want to encourage and accept options that allow them to go get help and resolve the matter in different ways? But we also have to maintain and understand that, again, I stress that wanting to hold everyone accountable, it's bringing the defense and the state to the table, making sure each of them do their job, advocating for their client and the defendant, advocating for victims and our community, and making sure they're doing their due diligence to come to the middle for justice and maintaining the person in the middle. Oh, never mind.
Hello. I've heard a lot of you. I've heard you both say your experience, but I'd like to know how many years of criminal law experience do you have with Class B misdemeanors or not?
Thank you. I'm no problem either, transparent about that. I was at the Public Defender's Office specifically for 2 years, dedicated to Criminal County Court number 3 and Criminal County Court number 9, focused in handling the dockets of Class A and Class B. Having resigned my job, I've gone to expand my knowledge and working in all the different misdemeanor division courts in Dallas County. I've been in every single one of them, including now the felony courts. My boss keeps me busy. I'm all over. On top of that, I handled prior misdemeanor Class C as a prosecutor, and I handled family violence on my own. I was the only prosecutor at the time, so I've handled multiple dockets and understand the 2 points of both sides, being a prosecutor evaluating the case, being a defense attorney evaluating the case. And ultimately, it's about advocating about our persons and our community at the end of the day. My other time as a licensed, which is about give or take 6 years, where I was involved in immigration law, was working with juveniles who had a variety of criminal law issues that I had to always factor in. So I've continuously had involvement in the criminal law division.
I've been licensed 15 years, and of those 15 years, I have 12 years specifically, substantially in criminal law. And in those 12 years, I have worked in misdemeanor courts, both here in Florida and here in Texas, and then I have spent the majority of my time in felony courts, handling everything from state jail felonies up to capital murder with the capital murder division. I have been a public defender, but in Florida, it was very state-friendly, and being state-friendly, you get one chance, and then it's either conviction or you're going away. So I know how to work with prosecutors. I have been known to be able to work with everyone and all types of people, all types of court personnel, all types of staff. So in those 15 years, it's been 12 years criminal law experience, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
All right. Any other questions from the audience? Use your only chance, because this is the only judge race we have tonight.
In the beginning, Ms. Priscilla, you mentioned expanding programs, and so I'd like to, what do you see for criminal court number 9 in terms of the biggest need for expanding the programs that are offered?
So in misdemeanor courts, there's the diversion program through the DA's office, and then each court or several of the judges have specialty programs. So there's the Green Yard out of Judge Green's court. In County Criminal Court number 11, there's the Intercepted Diversion Program. Judge Peggy Hoffman out of Criminal Court 9 used to have a diversion program for prostitution. I believe there's a few others, but I would definitely want to get with colleagues to see what the need is specifically, because they've been presiding over those courts for a lot longer. So I would want to collaborate with them and then see what the need would be, whether it's a theft diversion program, or if it's something else that needs diversion. There's also a DWI diversion for misdemeanor cases as well. So there are a lot of programs, but I would want to collaborate with the judges already to see what we can do, what the need is, and then implement a program from there.
Thank you for the question. So, Ms. Singleton's correct. There are programs instilled, and there is one diversion program, which is known as pretrial intervention. The program involves paying a fee to be involved. Now, we know there are community members who can't afford those fees, or can't afford the fees of those classes. A lot of judges currently are doing their best to find remedies. And I think one step in having build my time in the misdemeanor division and my relationship with the correct judges is finding partnerships or collaborations and expanding their programs. If it's a Spanish focused program to actually get rid of a wait list, or to expand that program because we do have high volume Spanish speakers, and having a Spanish speaking judge could assist and perhaps alleviate some of that backlog that may exist. But it's also expanding and discussing things with the DA of all the options. Having one diversion program for misdemeanors that handles so many cases in Dallas County is not sufficient. I believe we can do more, and I believe that the DA would be open to that. But to be there is to advocate for that. And I want to advocate for that. Advocate for the programs that our community needs, and also find remedies that every program holds. Sorry, I'll respect my time. Thank you. Okay.
Are there any other questions? Any other questions? What is your philosophy on the use of personal reconnaissance or PR bonds for misdemeanor defendants who do not pose a flight risk or a danger to the community?
I think we have a real need to make sure we're properly evaluated. As an attorney who's in these courts, I do push PR bonds when there's a non-violent and no flight risk, and there's a possibility of making and ensuring proper conditions are established. Now, something the community may not be aware of is that if a person gets arrested and the case is not moved or filed, after a certain amount of days, they're released for finding from the jail with no bond, no conditions. To avoid that potential risk of the conversation not being had, allowing for PR bonds allows for a conversation, protection to the community, and establishing conditions if it's check-ins or how do you come to court right away and not losing them by them simply being released and because the case didn't get moved. So we want to make sure. Thank you.
If it is a low-level offense, I have, and I do advocate for a PR bond, a personal recognizance bond. Low-level offenses, typically where there is no victim, like a victimless crime, or if it's a theft type case, then yes, we're arguing for personal recognizance bond. The program or the program that I mentioned earlier where we bring someone before the court within 24 hours of being arrested is so that probable cause arguments can be made. I have actually been able to argue that there was lack of probable cause where that count was then thrown out. So if we can bring someone before the court within those 24 hours to address issues such as probable cause, such as indigency and bond issues, then we can address each case on a case-by-case basis and make the determination for a personal recognizance bond. Trying not to use the terminology used before, but a PR bond. So yes, I do believe in PR bonds for cases that are eligible for them.
I told you they come quick. Many individuals appear in misdemeanor courts without an attorney. What will you do to ensure the courtroom environment is transparent and that all parties feel that they have been heard?
As a public defender, I have dedicated my career to making sure that people who don't have the money to afford an attorney have skilled representation. So again, at that 24-hour hearing, I would make sure the indigency is addressed so that they have access to an attorney within 24 hours. Fortunately for Dallas County, we do have a public defender's office. We also have a wheel where attorneys that everyday attorneys can come in and represent clients. So there are avenues for everyone to have representation if they want to. Now, if someone is still has their mind made up that they don't want an attorney, I definitely would strongly advise them about the collateral consequences or the damages that could be done by representing yourself. If you wanted to have a kidney surgery or heart surgery, you wouldn't do it on yourself, so law is the same thing. So let's get you an attorney to make sure that your rights are protected.
I think you want to create an environment in a court that is respected but not fear and welcoming. So it's having resources readily available. I have been arguments in great courts, and I think that the biggest thing you see is a court that has a great team behind it. So you have a coordinator on the same page with the judge, you have a clerk on the same page with the judge. So I think when you have people coming to the court notices, it's not always because they can't afford an attorney. It may just be they don't understand they need one, understand the next steps. So it's ensuring that communication is made clear, their options, and giving them sufficient time to advocate for them and for themselves. But when they don't afford, yes, we have great resources. We have great attorneys in Dallas around the world. We have a great public defender's office. And I think it's ensuring that the person understands their options and that clarity is there, and the ability to ask the right questions, and there's consistency will allow for success in that corner.
All right. Thank you, candidates. We've come to our point of 2-minute closings as you are formulating your thoughts. Audience, just want to remind you again, you're able to see tonight's forum, DallasExaminer.com. Go tomorrow. We'll be able to see not only tonight's, but our past Monday Night Politics forum. And with that, we'll start with our 2-minute closing.
Again, I thank you for your time and consideration. This is an exciting time to run. I am a first-time candidate, so I'm very humbled to be in front of you, and I thank you for hearing me and allowing me to speak with you. I did this in hopes of continuing service to my community, and that's all I can do, no matter what happens. Ultimately, the voters will decide, and I will respect the voters' decision. I respect my colleague, and I thank her for her time as well. We're in a position now where there's a vacancy in the courts for more representation. Having more bilingual judges, having people that look like my community, have people who have immigration law experience, know how to work with juveniles, who has been a prosecutor, working with pro ses, attorneys, public defender, and criminal defense attorney. I continue to grow in law, continue to grow in what I can provide my community, and I just hope to have an opportunity to serve my community with heart, compassion, and integrity. Thank you for your time. Oh, yeah, sorry. My website is PriscillaForJudge.com. It has my email. It's Priscilla@pdforjudge.com. You're welcome to reach out to me. I do have my social media, my Instagram, Facebook, all on the website. Easy to find. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you again for this opportunity to come before you all. My name again is Carrie Singleton, and I am running for County Criminal Court number 9. My website is carriesingleton.com, and it's the old-fashioned way, CarrieSingleton.com. People have asked me, don't you ever want to go into private defense? You can make more money that way. And I've always told them no. The reason why is because I've always wanted to help people that couldn't help themselves or that couldn't afford high-dollar private attorneys. I wanted to make sure that they had skill representation. And I just wanted to help people. I wasn't worried about the money. The county pays me. I just wanted to help people. And so I was very limited as a public defender. I was only able to help those that were assigned to me or appointed to me. So now I want to help more people, and I will be able to do that from this bench to make sure that everyone is treated fairly, that everyone is treated with dignity and respect, that everyone has the opportunity to be heard, whether you are the victim or the defendant, a family member, etc. I want to be a judge for everyone. Again, I want to be a judge for everyone. Not just one particular community, but for all of us. As a public defender, I've had the opportunity to represent everyone from all walks of life, no matter what language they spoke, no matter where they were from, gender, how they identified. I've had the privilege to work for everyone, and so I understand that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. There can be a lot of tensions and fears associated with court, and if one just feels respected and heard, then that can ease a lot of those tensions and fears. And so I want to bring all of my experience to the court to make sure everybody's treated fairly, equitably, that the court is running more efficiently and is effective for everyone. Thank you again for this opportunity. And again, I can be reached at carriesingleton.com, and my socials are Carrie for Judge. Have a good evening.
All right, let's give our candidates. Thank you, ladies. All right. Our next set of candidates will be for Constable Precinct number 1. We have Angel Aguilar, Tracy Gully next, and then Kenneth Hines. I see we have just one. Again, we do ask and email all candidates asking them to come, and those that show up get an opportunity to present their campaign. And with that, we have one. And just for you, I got all these questions for you. Yes. We'll start with the 2-minute limit.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Ms. Bell, for having me. I do apologize for my attire because, hey, I've been out on these polls today, and I zoomed over here to get to you so that you can learn about Tracy Gully. My name is Tracy Gully. I am your constable for Dallas County Precinct 1. I've been with the constable's office for about 30 years now, so I've had my boots to the ground, and I've been working hard. I have the largest precinct in Dallas County, so I service for East as Combine, Pleasant Grove, Cedarville, Oak Cliff, Lancaster, Wilmer, Hutchins, not Ball Springs, Mount Creek Parkway, the Woods, DeSoto, the entire Duncanville. So I do have some big shoes to fill, but I'm up for that challenge. I do carry my Master's Peace Officer certification. I'm a firearm instructor, so I can teach you how to shoot. And I'm also an instructor, so I can teach other police officers in the academy the things that they need to do to become an officer. I will say this job is not for the weak or the weary, but I am up for the challenge.
Okay. So, with that, we'll start with, just so that the audience can understand what a constable does and what a constable is, give us a description of all the type of services that a constable performs.
Okay, I will tell you, a constable is a licensed peace officer, so we serve court orders from the Justice of the Peace or whether the district courts. We serve subpoenas, child support, divorce papers. We serve, of course, everybody knows about the evictions that we serve. That's all they talk about. You're evicting someone. We serve evictions. We have small claims. Let me see, rid of evictions, rid of restorations, rid of garnishments. We serve garnishments as well. Those are a number of papers that we do serve as being a constable.
All right. So now that we understand what a constable is and qualifications, let's go ahead and jump on the easy one. Evictions.
I knew that was coming.
When executing a writ of possession, deputies often encounter families in crisis. What is your policy to balance the legal requirement to remove property with with safety and dignity of the residents involved?
Well, I will tell you this. One thing that I tell my deputies, to always treat a person with the utmost respect, because a lot of times we're going there, we're going to take away their belongings. We're going to evict them. And it's not the constables that's evicting them. I mean, because we're only there to protect them or to hold the peace. So we're not there moving their property out of the homes. That would be for the landlord and for their workers out there to move them. But I tell my deputies always, look at yourself as being on the other side of that door, because it could be you. So you have to be compassionate. You have to be understanding, because we're taking away. A lot of people have fallen onto property, so they're at their last ends.
Recent county budget hearings highlighted a negative relief factor, in other words, understaffing. If the Commissioner's Court does not grant additional positions, how will you reallocate current staff to meet your mandated duties?
Oh, wow, that's something that I'm used to. That's not a problem. I will tell you, I have the best staff at Precinct 1. So what we do, because initially the rule was you get so many papers, every 250 papers you're rewarded a deputy. So I will tell you, it's not the same as it used to be. We don't have as many papers as we used to have, because when I was serving as a deputy, I would carry at least 300 papers per deputy per day. But we don't have that many. But the thing that we do at Precinct 1, we work together. That's what we say, one-on-one with Precinct 1. We work together to get the job done. So we help each other, whether that deputy is in South Dallas and they only have 45 papers, whether my other deputy who's over in Duncanville that has 100 papers. We kind of take away a day and we help that other person to make sure that they're on the same level with each other. So if the Commissioner's Court is not giving us enough deputies, but we make it work. Whether I'm having to change the hours of the day or we're working normally we work a Monday through Friday. We've had some days where I would change the time and shorten the hours, but my time is up. I can go on.
So with that, kind of talk a little bit about it. In the recent legislation, they introduced House Bill 38, which has changed the eviction process and changed the process for constables. And it's multifaceted, and it's still evolving, and it hasn't been nailed down to exactly as to how it should work. Give us a brief description of how that is impacting your office in terms of serving and closing out cases that either they're for evictions or service.
Okay, well, we still treat everything as the same, still with compassion. And the laws do change every year. There's something different, and then we have to be adjusted. We have to adjust to those laws that are changing. But I will tell you, there's a new bill called it's the squatters law, and that's where they can pretty much circumvent going to the JP court, and they'll come directly to us and say, as long as there's not a lease that you have. That way they can come straight to the constable's office and we can evict you without you having to go to the JP. And you have to be careful, because a lot of people try to beat the system, and they will come to us and say, well, hey, I would rather that we go ahead and give our business to you, let the constables go ahead and do it without us having to go through the court system. But we have to make sure, now there is an affidavit that we have to fill out, what the person has to fill out to make sure that you're abiding by the law, that you don't have a lease with this person, or that you are just a squatter, because there's so many things that goes on when you have a third party leasing, or I rent it out to Ms. Jones, and Ms. Jones is renting it out to the nephew, the cousin. So we have it all the time.
All right, thank you. Now it's time for questions from the audience. If you got a question, please come forward to my right, ask your question.
This is the time. If you have your phone still and it's not a silent, please put your phones on silent. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Constable.
Good afternoon, Ms. Graham.
You stated earlier that Precinct 1 is the largest precinct in Dallas County. So on an average, let's say in 30 days, how many papers would you say Precinct 1 serves?
Wow. I just looked at that number because I try to look at my numbers every Monday. And I was just looking at, for the year, I will tell you this, for 2025, citations just from Judge Thomas Lee Jones, there were 9,997. Eviction papers, there were roughly 2,500 So we have, and that's not including Judge Lindsay and Nash, so that's a couple other thousands as well. So it averages on the daily. Yes, ma'am. It's a lot.
Any other questions from the audience?
How you doing, Constable Dillon? My question is because you just mentioned staffing, and no, I'm not throwing any shade, but DPD seems to have a shortage on the southern sector as far as staffing is concerned historically. What wonderful things are you doing as far as with your scheduling of your staff? I don't know how many constables I don't know how big your fleet is or people, whatever you want to call them, but how do you actually, work with what you have to make it work? Okay.
Well, I will tell you this. A good thing about Constable Gully, just like my mother said, always know your neighbors. I know my mayor, all the mayors in my county, Cedarville, DeSoto, Duncanville, all my police chiefs. I have a close working relationship. And I will tell you, it's just not the southern sector. The entire DPD staff is short-staffed. They need help everywhere. Southern sector, the north, the south, believe it or not. And I will tell you this, because I don't just accept anything and anyone, you have to be qualified to do this job because the liability stands on me. So there are lots of people, hundreds of people that want to apply, but are you fit for this job? Absolutely not. Everyone is not fit for this job. But I do have a close working relationship with every police agency in my department, so I can pick up the phone and say, hey, Chief Soto, over in DeSoto, I need your help with something. Or they can say, Constable Gully, I need your help. So I work closely with every single police agency that's in my district.
Any other questions from the audience? You're just getting warmed up. All right, another question. We know you talked a little bit about the requirements from the state for constable, Dallas County requirements. What are the most important soft skills, such as communication, empathy, that a deputy constable should possess in order to be involved?
When you say soft skills, I will tell you, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, sister, but as far as, you have to be compassionate. I don't care what you do, you have to be compassionate. At the end of the day, I wear this uniform every day, but behind the uniform, I'm just like you. I have feelings, so does it get to me sometimes? Absolutely, it does. But I say it until I'm blue in the face. You have to treat people the way that you want to be treated. Not the way that they treat you, because believe me, there are many days that I get called everything what's on the back of my badge. So, and hey, I get the last call at the end of the day, so I have to be respectful. And I have to be mindful. They're going through something. So if I'm there to help them, to encourage them, or to give them some type of revenue, some type of source, or anything that I can to help them out, I do.
I just want to know, how do you work with the sheriff's department as well as the constables? How do you guys work together to keep us safe?
Okay. Well, I will tell you this: the sheriff department is our sister department, and their job is a little different than us. They actually do the accidents on the rural areas, but we do house in the same building. They're on Polk Street, so their 911 facility is there. Their traffic division is there. So I will tell you, and we work mental illness wards together as well. So anytime that I need them or they need me, we call on each other. So we have a good working relationship.
All right. Time flies when you have fun.
Just a glance.
So with that, we're gonna let you off the hot seat and we're gonna begin with Dr. Ray closing. So again, please go to DallasExaminer.com tomorrow when you can see tonight's forum. And as well as remember, there's no video recording and no photography. Thank you. You want to close?
Okay, well, thank you for having me once again. My name is Tracy Gully. When you go to the ballot, you know what to do. I'm number 2 on that ballot. Remember that name, Tracy Gully. I will tell you this. To me, serving is not seasonal. So I do this all the time. So it's not just because it's campaign time that I'm out there. If you come to my office, you may not see me sitting at that desk. Now you're gonna see my amazing staff because I see a few of them in there and they will help you. But I'm out in the community because they voted for me to be out there. So I'm at a homeowners meeting, I'm at the HOA, I'm in the school speaking, I'm at the church speaking, I'm at the senior citizens, I'm going to classes speaking to everyone. So I'm engaging into the community. When someone tells you it's time for a change, I'm going to run against Constable, I am that change. I've made a change at Precinct 1, and I still have work to do, and I'm up for the challenge. My mother tells me, why do you want to do this? And I say it all the time, Mom. She said, they're going to talk about you. They do that now, Mom. They're going to lie on you. Don't they do that? But I will tell you this, if I didn't have any value to offer this community or to offer God, Satan would have a reason to attack me. So when they come for me, I say, this is all you got. I'm up for the challenge. I am your constable for Precinct 1, Tracy Gully. You can reach me. I'm on Facebook at Tracy Gully, and my website is electtracygully.com. My phone number, 214-808-4063, or my office number, 972-228-0006. If you can't reach me, I have an amazing staff that will get me on the line, and I'm coming to you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Moving right along, continue on that same vein. Now we up for Constable Precinct number 3. We have Henry Curry first, and then DeMondre Montgomery. All right, with that, we'll begin with your 2-minute opening.
Good evening, everyone. I am your constable for Precinct 3, Henry Curry, and I have served the citizens of Dallas County for 28 years. Prior to getting back to constable, I served in such roles as a patrol officer. I was a civil deputy with warrants in traffic enforcement. I was a lead specialist for a seized and sold property satisfied judgments. I was a sergeant, and I also served as assistant chief, where I oversaw daily operations and training. I am an instructor. I'm an instructor, and I'm an instructor, and I've done everything, and I've worked in every facet of the constable's office.
With that, if you would give us the boundaries of the precinct and some of the unique differences for those areas.
So my precinct consists of Richardson, Addison, North Dallas, Hamilton Park, White Rock Lake, Highland Park, University Park. I go all the way to East Dallas, so I am the North Side Constable's Office.
Right. Precinct 3 covers North Dallas with a mix of residential and commercial areas. Explain how serving civil process for a business dispute differs from serving an eviction writ for a family, and what different challenges do you face?
Okay, that's a great question, because doing an eviction for a business is completely different from doing a residential eviction. When doing residential eviction, everything in that property has to come out. When you're doing a business eviction, it depends on what the lease states. In the operation of completing a business eviction, one can seize and just take all the property and leave it inside. When you're doing an eviction on residential property, it has to be removed.
The constable provides security for the justice of the peace. How will you work with your JP judges to assess and improve courtroom security for both staff and the public?
Okay, I have a great working relationship with both my JPs. In fact, I give my JPs the option of having the deputy to just remain there and provide security service all day long without having to go out and work in the field. Basically, that deputy is there to serve security for that court throughout the course of the day.
All right. Next question, and just remind you to look in the camera or look in the audience when you ask your questions. What is your philosophy? What is your philosophy on handling situations where a deputy's duty to service an eviction or seizure conflicts with a resident's immediate personal crisis?
Can you repeat that question for me, please?
What is your philosophy on handling situations where a deputy's duty to service an eviction or seizure conflicts with a resident's immediate personal crisis?
Man, we're there to do the job. That happens often. We try to complete the job, but still provide service for anyone that's in crisis. And at the end of the day, at the constable's office, we have a duty to serve in a job that has to be done, but we will address all personal crises at that time.
Now we are to the portion of questions from our audience. If you have a question, please step forward.
I have a quick question for you, sir. Due to the fact that mental illness has been really pushed to the forefront, what is your department doing as far as assisting with those who may have a mental crisis and you have been involved?
That's a great question. I myself am a certified mental health specialist in TCO. The majority of my department is also certified. That's one thing we try to ensure so that when they come upon a crisis involving any type of mental issues or a mental crisis, they know how to handle it. We work well with the JPs. When they issue those, we get them out. I try to ensure that the majority, I probably have over half of my staff, along with myself, that are mental health specialists through TCO.
Any more questions from the audience? Another question?
Oh, right here, gotcha.
Constables must coordinate with Dallas Police, the Sheriff's Office, and other agencies around warrant service and property disputes. Give a specific example of a situation where the constable's authority overlaps with another agency, and how would you coordinate to avoid confusion, duplication, or gaps in service?
The only situation in which the constable's authority would override any other agency would be something of a civil nature. What you have to understand is the constables don't go out for calls of service. What we do is we go out on process of service. That means we go out to serve court notices. So the only time we would have jurisdiction over another agency would be in a situation where it's a civil matter and we're actually there to enforce that civil matter.
Constables are licensed peace officers who primarily serve civil documents, but also perform law enforcement functions. How would you decide when your deputy should focus on patrol and law enforcement versus serving civil documents? Walk us through your thought process.
First and foremost, we are, as you stated, licensed peace officers. Our primary job description is to serve the civil notice, but we get flagged down on a daily basis when we're in the communities. So we're going to always exercise our law enforcement duty whenever needed. Again, the primary goal is to serve the civil process, but we're here to perform any law enforcement duty, and that includes if we're flagged down upon a crisis, then we're going to handle that crisis situation being there.
So we're at the point where for our 2-minute closing. So as you formulate your thoughts, again, take the time to give us your 2-minute closing. Thank you.
Okay, once again, I am your constable for Precinct 3, Henry Curry. And as I stated, I have served the citizens of Dallas County for 28 years. I'm here doing the job. I have a lot of experience. I am a master peace officer. I am a graduate of the Texas Constable's College of Leadership at Bill Blackwood Law Enforcement Management Institute. Been doing this for 28 years. I'm an instructor. I teach civil process, which is our core job description for deputies throughout Dallas County, as well as the state of Texas. It's nothing in the constable's office I can't do. I have worked in every single facet of the constable's office. I know everything there is to do when I'm here and we're getting it done. I work hand in hand with my deputies on a daily basis to ensure that Dallas County citizens of Precinct 3 has been served properly. Okay. You can reach me at my office at Precinct 3, or you can reach me on my email. It's website, www.curryforconstable.com. I'm also on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that as well. Okay, Henry Curry on Facebook, Henry Curry 300 on Instagram.
Constable Precinct number 4. Number 4, we have Eddie Brown and Roy Williams Jr. So with that, we begin with your 2-minute openings.
Good evening. I'm Constable Eddie Brown. I'm Constable Eddie Brown. Is that better? Yeah. All right. Good evening. I'm Constable Eddie Brown Jr. I'm an Oak Cliff native, Duncanville graduate, University of North Texas graduate. Once I graduated from North Texas, I became a parole officer. Supervised high intense murderers, sex offenders, and then after that, I decided to go to police academy. In 2009, I became a police officer in the city of Plano, and in 2022, somebody approached me and said, "Hey, you should run for office." I said, "Hey, I'm not a politician." They said, "That's why you need to run." So I prayed about it, I talked to my family, and I ran, and I won, thank God. So now I'm in my first term, and hopefully I can get a second term. I covered DeSoto, Cedar Hill, Grand Prairie, Cross, and Pelham.
Okay. The first question: how does your specific law enforcement background prepare you for the unique civil legal duties of a constable, which differ significantly from a traditional street patrol?
Well, when I was a patrol officer, when people used to have a civil matter, they could say, "Contact the constable office." And now that I realize they need to be contacting JP's office. And now I try to go into the PDs and educate them and say, "Hey, on this type of call, this is who you need to contact," as opposed to just saying, "Hey, contact the constable office," because everything is started with the JP's office. And as far as I think when I came into the job, being a police officer, we had tasers. My office didn't have tasers. So all the constables collectively was able to secure tasers for our deputies to help with mental health warrants.
Next question. Many residents feel the legal system is complex. How will your office provide neutral resources to help both tenants and landlords understand their rights during the eviction process?
Well, we don't want to be. Anytime we show up, people thinking, "Hey, okay, the constable here to kick us out." First of all, it's not because we're enforcing it. We're making sure everything's safe. And so, as far as having doing different town hall meetings and showing, "Hey, these are what you can do in case you face this or face that," and also I work with certain individuals. Like we had a person that was a veteran that was kicked out of their house. Was evicted. So I contacted the DAB 240 that was located in Cedar Hill, and they provided a group to come out there, place the things in storage, and get the lady help and get her in the VA and to help set up her benefits. So it takes a community. So I try to get all these resources to have, in those needed times.
All right. What is your strategy for maintaining high morale among your deputies? And how do you believe leadership style directly impacts the quality of service provided to the public?
Well, every time I tell my deputies, don't make me newsable. I don't want to be on the news for bad things and I'm not going to make y'all look bad. And so that's what I tell them, "Hey, we need to try to de-escalate." I know everybody feels like they can, de-escalate, but everybody has their own way of dealing with stuff. And I tell, especially since we deal with mental health, sometimes you have to, there's not a one way that you deal with mental health crisis. So I teach them, I tell them, "Hey, we need to do de-escalation training." And like I said, you need to have a heart, you need to care, because at the end of the day, you'll be on the other side.
Thank you. Now, we're at a portion for questions from the audience. If you have a question, please step forward.
Since you said this was your first term, you're going into your second term, what was your most challenging call that you have had to deal with?
Well, I think the most challenging call is sometimes people call and want favors, and then you realize you have to tell people, hey, I didn't give them this to do any favors for people. You know, I did this because, for one, I wanted to make an impact. And, you know, people, sometimes people call you and say, hey, this or that. I mean, anything that they call me and make a complaint about, I make sure I offer to investigate. I don't just, if you fill out a formal complaint, I make sure that's investigated.
In education, you used to say think time, Charlie. I started to just look at you, you look at me, I figure out what question you're going to ask, and just kind of peer pressure. Okay, I have a question for you. In your position, you deal with some trying times for individuals, and you have an unfortunate situation where it also deals with finances as well, a mixture. What is your philosophy on the revenue-generated aspect of the constable's office? Should the focus be on maximizing fees for the county or public service?
I think it should be public service. I mean, I'm not an advocate of charging people when they're down on the luck a large amount of sum to serve a paper. I mean, like I said, we're doing a public service, and we shouldn't be charging outrageous price to serve the paper.
For a voter who has never used the court system, how does the work of the constable's office impact their daily quality of life or the safety of their neighborhood?
Can you repeat that?
For a voter who has never used the court system, how does the work of the constable's office impact their daily quality of life or the safety of their neighborhood?
I mean, as far as us, we serve papers. We serve eviction. We serve protection orders. I mean, restraining orders. Now, as far as the quality of life, I mean, people don't realize the paperwork we do serve are detrimental in something like domestic violence cases. And we also help, like CPS, take the kid from a non-custodial parent and reunite with that parent. So, I mean, like I said, people might realize, like, oh, they're not the real police, I've heard. But, I mean, we can do anything that the police can do.
Question dealing with neighborhood safety. Again, should the constable's office take an active role in neighborhood nuisance issues like illegal dumping or abandoned vehicles? If so, how would you fund those efforts?
As far as the resources, we had more depth, we could do that. But as far as the resources that we have now, we had to allocate them, because we deal with truancy, we deal with, we have papers to serve, so we don't have the manpower to help out with that. But if y'all can find some money and send it our way, I'll definitely find a different to do that stuff for.
All right. One last question. From body-worn camera to digital evidence management, how will you use modern technology to protect both your deputies and the citizens they serve from wrongdoing?
Well, I make sure anytime we do an eviction or something that sensitive matter, they turn the body cameras on, because you have a lot of people that say, hey, they took this and took that, and we can go to the body camera and view it and say, hey, well, we investigated and found out that that wasn't true. So I tell them, anytime you are in contact with the public, turn your body camera on so we can, so it's not he said versus you said.
All right. Again, time flew. So we're at the point of your 2-minute closing. So in your two-minute closing, please give us how we can be in contact with your campaign.
Well, for one, I'm tired. I've been on the campaign trail every day. I'm tired, ready for March 3rd to get here. The reason why I'm tired of seeing signs on the road. I'm the only one to bring it. I'm like, my son over there. My son's birthday is March 3rd, so hopefully I can give him a victory. And once again, I cover DeSoto, City Hill, Grand Prairie, Carrollton, Pale, and Irvin. I have a website, Eddie Brown Jr. 4, the number 4 Constable. I'm on Facebook, Instagram under Eddie Brown Jr. I remember a lady said, "Are you Eddie Brown Jr.?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "I voted for you." He said, it sounded like you got a daddy. I said, well, I do that, and I thank you for that. So, but, I mean, hey, I'm ready for this to wrap up. I'm ready for this to end, but I'm still going to be on this campaign trail. And thank y'all for having me.
All right. Now our main event. Our last candidate for tonight and for Monday Night Politics will be Constable Precinct number 5. We have Sophie Glenn and Michael Roberts. Okay, the 2-minute open.
Good evening. My name is Sophia Grant. I'm currently an employee of Tarrant County Constable's Office Precinct number 8. I work inside of the courts as a bailiff. I also am what we call a TAC officer. And a TAC officer, I make sure that all our deputy constables receive the 40 courses that were required by state law. And I also work security for 3 buildings. We have the main building where the court is, where the constable's office is. The next building is the tax assessors and the county clerk's office. And then the next building is where the probation office building is. So currently I'm working in Tarrant County, but I grew up in West Dallas. I used to work at Precinct 1 and Precinct 5. I have a 4-year college degree and a master's peace officer's license. And I am the only lifelong Democrat in this race. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Constable Michael Orozco, and I currently represent Precinct 5. I actually started my career as a deputy constable back in 1997, and I took the initiative of learning each and every division of the constable's office. Why? Because becoming constable was going to be a lifelong dream job that I wanted to have. And finally, in 2018, when I ran for office, I promised that I would restore professionalism, integrity, and efficiency back to the office. Now, why do you say back to the office? People don't realize or know, but Precinct 5 for the last 20 years before I took over, we had 4 constables that were either criminally charged or removed from office. So when I took over in 2018, we hit the ground running. We implemented policies and procedures that increased efficiency and productivity. I inherited a mess. I hand counted 10,000 warrants that my predecessor had failed to put on. And in 2019, Dallas County is the second largest county in the state, the second largest county in Texas. We didn't even have body cams. I led the charge. We got them. I took under my leadership, we took that precinct from being the worst, not in Dallas County, but the worst in Texas, to the best in Texas. And that's why I was proudly honored and received Texas Constable of the Year for the entire state of Texas. First time a Dallas County Constable has ever achieved that award. We've done many, many things, but you know, people ask me, is that what you're most proud of? What's your proudest moment? And surprisingly, people say the award. I say the Natalia Cox Act. We got a law passed. Ask me during the questions to ask me. Explain the Natalia Cox Act. We got it passed in 2023.
Questions come quick. And just fortunate for you all, since you all are last, I have a ton of questions.
Absolutely. Bring it on.
All right, so first up, many people served with legal documents don't understand what they're being served or what they need to do next. How would you ensure that when your deputies serve documents, residents actually understand what's happening and what are their options?
That goes back to training. We get our deputies receive the highest training nonstop. I am a master peace officer license holder. We have done so much progression with the deputies. Many of the deputies now, I don't think there's one that has anything lower than an advanced peace officer. You have the basic peace officer license, you have the intermediate, advanced, and the master's. Since we took over, many of my deputies some of them I've already gotten master peace officer license. So it's through training. Train. And when our deputies are out there, it's about showing respect, empathy, and compassion. And that's how we get the job done.
Many people served with legal documents don't understand what they've been served or what they need to do next. How would you ensure that when your deputies serve documents, residents actually understand what's happening and what their options are?
You're not performing surgery, okay? Everything in the state of Texas and the law for the state of Texas is written probably on a high school level. And those citations that they're serving, it says it exactly at the top. Whatever paper is serving, if it's a writ of possession, guess what it's gonna say? Writ of possession. So there's nothing that they're not going to understand. Now, they may need for you to say, hey, if it's a writ of re-entry, that means that person is between a landlord and a tenant. That means that, hey, this person illegally locked me out, and I need to go and get my stuff. So, of course, it's not gonna say get my stuff. It's gonna say a writ of re-entry or a writ of retrieval. So, it's self-explanatory. Every citation in the state of Texas is gonna say it right across the top, whatever the citation is.
Council provides bailiff services for justice of the peace courts, ensuring courtroom security and order. Describe what makes an effective JP Court bailiff beyond just being present in the courtroom.
You've been to my court. The first thing I do is I do a security check. So I have a wand. So I wand everyone in. Now in my courtroom, the judge doesn't allow cell phones. So I ask each individual person, do you have a cell phone? Do you have a cell phone? Do you have a cell phone? And of course, everyone says, no, I don't have a cell phone. And of course, they have a cell phone. So when they come inside the courtroom, I let them know, let's go over some courtroom etiquette. Because most people don't understand how they're supposed to conduct themselves when they're inside of the courtroom. It's like you're in church. Okay, you're in church. You don't disrespect the court. So I explain to them, there's no talking. I tell them where they're going to sit, because people don't know. And sometimes they don't understand the end of the process. If the judge says you have judgment, that means you won, so you can leave. But if you didn't win, and then they'll say, well, what do I need to do? Well, you can go over into the judge's court and you can file an appeal. So you just simply explain it to people how they're supposed to conduct themselves, and for the majority of the time, they'll comply. And if not, you'll go to the Tarrant County Jail.
Thank you for the question. So a lot of people don't realize bailiff in a court is probably one of the most dangerous jobs to have in law enforcement. You have parties that are there against each other. You have a landlord that's trying to take someone out of their house. So all my deputies, we are state mandated to take a bailiff in court training course. We make our deputies take it all the time, yearly, because you have to have refresher courses to see what's happening, new techniques on de-escalation. It starts with de-escalation, because when you're in that situation, you're the only person sometimes in that whole building or in that courtroom, and that backup can't maybe even get there soon enough. So we train our officers in de-escalation and non-stop training and bailiff duties as well.
Okay. Next question. How would you reorganize current shifts or duties to improve papers per deputy ratios without burning out your staff?
Another good question. So we did, the deputies wanted to go to 10-hour shifts. We tried it out. Unfortunately, it really didn't work. There was just too many overlaps of vacation and so forth. So now we do have 2 different shifts. In the summertime, for example, our deputies will start out at 6 in the morning. All right? Then we have another shift. They'll leave at 2:30. The other shift will come in at 8. And so we manage the shifts around. And I'm proud to tell you that our retention rate with our deputies, It's out the roof. Morale is out the roof. And that's why when we have good leadership, deputies are happy if they're treated fairly and with respect. And that's one of the main things that I changed when I took over. I brought back credibility in the deputies that now love to serve and do their job.
How will you reorganize current shifts or duties to improve papers per deputy ratios without burning out your staff?
Burnout is something that's easy for people to get into contact with. But if you know the area that you're serving, like there's going to be a different time that you're going to serve West Dallas versus you serving East Dallas. And depending upon whether or not you're serving a residential area in West Dallas, that's going to be different than serving a residential area in East Dallas. So it's up to each individual deputy. They're going to tell me, I'm not going to be able to tell them. So at that point, they should know their area and they should know the hours that's conducive for them. And if they can explain that to me, I'll be more than happy to accommodate them.
Now we have come to the board where questions from the audience. So if you have a question, please come forward.
I saw, Officer Orozco, that you were endorsed by the Next Generation Action Network, and I wanted to know specifically.
That's a good question for both candidates.
I wanted to know specifically why did they endorse you, and then Officer Graham, what would be a significant endorsement that you had from a PAC or from a group, and why did they endorse you?
If you'll do your history on those PACs, the majority of the PACs, they're going to endorse the incumbent. It doesn't take much effort for you to be endorsed by a PAC. Do your research and you'll find out that those PACs, they endorse incumbents, whether they earn it or not. And let me address another thing. When you are a person of color and you're accused of a crime, like these last constables that he's making statements about, have anybody ever been falsely accused of a crime? Look at those braces of those constables. And just because you're accused doesn't mean that you're guilty.
Thank you for that question. In regards to, well, let me start off saying this. In 2018, I ran against an incumbent, and I received endorsements from several organizations. So it doesn't matter if you're the incumbent or the challenger. Whoever does the best part of articulating of why they need to be elected, that's who wins. In regards to the Next Generation Action Network, I stand for justice. I stand for accountability and transparency. What do I mean by that? For example, look what we did with the body cameras. And guess what? It is what it is. We no longer have a deputy because of what was caught on the body camera. And also, I told Next Generation Action Network, you know what an important question you should ask law enforcement candidates? Would you turn in one of your own? I've done that. I turned in a crooked Dallas Police Department officer. And guess what? He was fired and no longer needed to be there. Thank you.
This question is kind of for both of the candidates. I did hear you mention a few years back that you had a law passed for the counties for your deputies. Am I correct?
No, that was we got the law passed for the Natalia class.
Okay, and then I also heard you mention something about a law that you had passed in 2023.
Yep, that's the Natalia class.
So what I'm asking is, what are prompting you to get these laws passed, or how are you seeing these laws that have not been passed? So how are you beginning to start the process of passing these laws and the time process to pass the laws?
Great question.
Hold on. Can you rephrase the question so that both candidates can answer it?
Well, there's a different question for the other candidates.
One at a time.
Okay. I'm asking about the law that you passed in 2023.
I'm sorry, I'm going to stop here. Any question you ask has to go for both candidates. So it can't be a personal question.
It's not a personal question.
Well,
But
yeah, it's personal.
what I will say then, we'll scratch that question. Okay? What we will ask is, because there's a lot of questions about the mental illness issue and also the homeless issue. So I'm trying to figure out, and I want to know from each one of the candidates, how do you plan on closing this gap, bridging this gap, and using your position to help them both? And what do you see the significant issue and problem is? And also within the Truancy, because it seems that they're all running hand in hand. So how will you use your position to fix this situation that no one seems to be able to grasp?
Another great question. And I'm here to tell you, we're already doing that. We're bridging that gap about mental health illness. The judge and I, and the other judge that I serve with, we go nonstop to Genesis Places, to family shelters, talking about the services that we provide for mental health illness issues. We do that already. We go out on social media. We go out to the community. We go and educate. In regards to homelessness, back in 2022, and we're going to do another one, try that, 2023, we did the first ever eviction plan in the state of Texas. What do? We brought all the stakeholders together that provide resources and assistance. Because this organization didn't maybe know that there was an organization that helps blind people. So we're already doing that, and we're going to do another one this year to educate the people about the new eviction laws that unfortunately have come out this year.
There's a compulsory attendance law that's mandated by the state of Texas that just basically says that kids need to be in school 90% of the time. And unfortunately, kids in Dallas County are not in school 90% of the time. And as far as it is with homelessness, when you walk out the door, go drive up under 45 or 35 and see if there's been anything that's been breached as far as it relates to homelessness and as it relates to teenagers walking the street. Like right now, I'm off work. I see people at Kingston High School, North Dallas, Sunset, Adamson. These kids are simply not going to school. So what programs are you implementing? You can't implement programs if you're not at work. You have to build relationships with schools. You can't build a relationship with an organization. Genesis is for women. Genesis is not an organization that will allow men to come inside or children. It's a women's organization. So the way that I would do that, I work for DISD, you build relationships with schools.
More questions from the audience? Another question from the audience? Constables have authority throughout the county, but each precinct serves a specific geographical area with its own character and challenges. What specific challenges or opportunities exist in Precinct 5 that would shape how you lead this office?
One problem exists in Precinct 5 is accountability. I work in Tarrant County. If I see a Precinct 5 vehicle that's in Tarrant County when you should be in Dallas County doing working hours, then you're abusing time and you're abusing that vehicle that belongs to the citizens of Dallas. So that's one thing, accountability. And I won't be at an off-duty job when I'm supposed to be in my office because I can't run Precinct 5 if I'm working at 7-Eleven. I can't run Precinct 5 if I'm working at my church. I have to be in that office to know what's going on in my office in order to run it. And not only that, I've been black and living in America for quite some time now. So I don't wear enough blue to cover up this black. So you have to make sure that your department reflects the community that it serves.
Let me address the accountability about a Precinct 5. We had someone file a complaint about seeing a Precinct 5 squad car in Tarrant County. And guess what? They're there on training. They had a court order from the Commissioner's Court to be there. So let's go ahead and settle that down. Nextly, truancy. Truancy, I've been every year trying to get the truancy papers back. Unfortunately, Dallas County has developed this system where they send all the truancy papers and bailiff duties to one court. One of the reasons was because some of the precincts weren't doing their job. Heck, we even had a deputy that arrested the wrong student on a truancy warrant. That's outrageous. So when it comes to accountability, I've restored accountability back to Precinct 5. There's no question about that.
Could you both tell me a little bit about the law that was passed and how, at this point, a few years later, you're going to continue to use that law to help the citizens of Dallas keep everybody safe, and how your officers will be utilized?
Great question. So this idea came about when I was at an event back in 2019, and I want to fast forward. Myself, Judge Sai Martinez, and Judge Juan Hassel, we created a partnership with the City of Dallas in regards to domestic violence. Let me give you an example. If you're a victim of domestic violence and you get a protective order, did you know you can take that protective order to your landlord or residential management company, and they have to let you out the lease free and clear? Anybody know that? Hardly anybody knows about that. We did something about it. We got that information to be placed on all the Dallas Police Department domestic violence flyers, Sheriff's Department. And then in 21, we did file a bill. It died in committee, but guess what? In 2023, our idea was implemented at the state level. It's called the Natalia Cox Act. Google it. It's a fantastic bill, and I have other wonderful ideas when it comes to domestic violence for this next session as well.
Are you talking about the squatters law, or were you talking about the job of a state representative? Because constables don't implement law, constables don't write law. That's why you have state representatives. But the new squatters law, it overlooks the JPs and tell them to come straight to the constable's office as long as it's not a conflict. But usually there's a conflict, because we had a conflict in Tarrant County where some relatives attempted to come and say, oh, these people are squatting. Well, that wasn't a squat, that they were not squatting. Those relatives, and they had heritage rights over their home. So constables don't implement law.
That is true. We lobby our representatives for that. But my question is, because I was in precinct 1 and I'm in 5 now, and I want to know from the both of you, when it comes to the different areas, such as Pleasant Grove, and I mean, when I realized how big the district was, I was just like, wow, that is a huge district. So what is your strategy to help each area is unique. What is your strategy to help each area, and which ones do you consider are the real hotspots?
Precinct 5, I think it covers 106 miles of Dallas, and the constable's office is based on service. So once again, depending upon where that service is needed, is where the service will be implemented. Like you may have more set-outs in West Dallas than you do in East Dallas. You may have, I know, more writs of cigarette stations in North Dallas than you do in West Dallas. You have more garnishments in North Dallas than you would in West Dallas. So it just depends on what that particular area needs. And you have to do an assessment of your area, which you get that assessment from Dallas County or from the deputy themselves. They should know the area. But once again, no area is larger than precinct 1. Nobody serves more papers than precinct 1. So the constable of the year will be Tracy Gutty.
We already do that. We started on day 1. We implemented a procedure that keeps deputies out on the street. As many of you guys know, we serve evictions, okay? When their deputies are out there, they would have to, after 2 attempts, they make 2 attempts on the apartment. If they're unsuccessful, they would usually used to have to come all the way back to the office, fill out the paperwork, and then go back out on the field. We maximize our clerks. Now the clerks do that. So guess what? The deputy gets to stay out in the field. And we all know that visibility is a deterrent to crime. So we keep the deputies out there doing their job and being productive. And that's why we are recognized statewide as one of the best constable precincts in the state of Texas.
So my question is, I just want, since I don't know which one or both of you can do it, because when I looked at the magnitude of the district, I just want you to name the areas that's in the district. so everybody know what they are. How's it feel?
Yeah, we have 130 square miles, and we have a population of 532,000 people in Precinct 5. Let's start on the south side. It goes all the way down south to Keys Boulevard, and on the other side it goes south down to 175. So then we have all of West Dallas, all of West Oak Cliff, the medical district, the design district. You go up 35, we have everything west of the tollway, so we have Prison Hollow now, northwest Dallas. We have the Oak Lawn corridor, and we have Old East Dallas. We have Butler Terrace where I live, and then we've got basically all of Pleasant Grove. And of course, we have two other cities. We have Farmers Branch and the city of Taquaril.
I mean, he just named it, but it's still, I still say it's 106 miles of Dallas, but he just named all the areas: West Dallas, East Dallas, North Oak Cliff, Pleasant Grove, Farmers Branch. He just named it.
I'm actually glad you got up first because your comment actually compelled me to get up there. As a state lawmaker, if you could answer what ideals that both of you have that need to be implemented at the state level to make your jobs better at serving the people.
To me, it begins with children. If you're not concerned about what our children are doing, especially children of color, kids need to be in school. I can't think of a crime that's more higher than them cheating themselves out of an education. So if you could help with the truancy law, that they've watered it down to where kids in schools are not filing truancy because they've condensed it so that the kids are just they're not going to school. And our kids need to be educated.
Great question. It starts with restoring what we have done, the professionalism, integrity, and efficiency. That's how we provide a better service towards. And at the state level, I'm not just doing that Natalia Cox Act. I was at the last session, advocating against some of the current eviction laws that we've changed. It's awful. That's why I'm telling you guys, better services, we provide better services. We're going to do the eviction clinic. When we're out there serving evictions, our deputies carry this really nice flyer handle with all the resources that they can go with. We also work very closely with the Dallas Eviction Advocacy Center. They're a proud supporter of my office because of the tremendous changes that we have done in regards to evictions, in regards to educating people. And we nonstop, I'm out there, my deputies out there nonstop educating the community about the services that they may not even know we provide.
All right, last question. What specific actions will you take to ensure the public views the consular office as a fair and neutral arm of the Dallas County court system?
Well, we're already doing that. Precinct 5's credibility has been restored since I've taken office. Like I said, the community loves us. The community always calls about me. Heck, the newspaper always use us as an example. We were actually featured in Frontline when they did a deal about evictions. I've been interviewed numerous times about the great job that we have done. So I strongly feel that when the people see it and the people hear about it, that's how change is made. And we provide a fantastic service to our community nonstop all the time.
Know the difference between when you're talking to a politician and when you're talking to a police officer. I'm not a politician, I'm a police officer. A politician is going to tell you exactly what it is that you want to hear, okay? A police officer is going to tell you what it is that you need to know. I'm going to tell you the truth at all costs. Now, what was your question?
Got it. All right. What specific actions will you take to ensure the public views the consular office as a fair and neutral arm of the Dallas County court system?
It's real easy. I'm going to tell the truth. If my deputies are not doing the job, I'm not going to come before anyone and say, oh, they're doing such a great job when they're doing nothing. If you're playing basketball in county time, you're not going to be at precinct 5. If you are working your off-duty job and you're supposed to be at precinct 5, you're not going to be there. If you're working and you're getting money from Dallas County and you're getting cash money from some entity, you're supposed to be doing your job at precinct 5.
All right. We have come to the end of the road. And as we prepare for our 2-minute closing, I just want to remind everyone again that you can tomorrow go to theDallasExaminer.com to review tonight's forum as well as the previous forums. Also, I encourage those who have not voted yet, please make sure you check your voter registration status to make sure that you are still registered to vote. Also with that, and remember those that haven't voted, please vote early, as during early voting you can vote at any voting location throughout Dallas County. On election day, you will have to go to your assigned precinct. Please check to make sure your precinct still exists or has moved. You can do that by going to DallasCountyVotes.org. You can always look at the candidates and through Vote411.org or the League of Women Voters guide to get more information about candidates. And as our candidates preparing their clothing, they will give us how to get in contact with your campaign. Oh, and polls close at 7 on Friday. Okay? All right.
To get in contact with my campaign, it's called Graham for Constable. My name is Sophia Graham. I graduated from Kingston High School. I have a 4-year college degree. I have a master's police officer's license. I'm running on 2 concepts, truancy and mental health. Truancy because I was a school cop. There's a compulsory attendance law mandated by the state of Texas. It just basically says our kids need to be in class 90% of the time in order for them to get credit for the class. Unfortunately, our kids are not. Mental health is because I have an off-duty job. Well, I've worked at a church for the past 25 years, and we feed the homeless. And a lot of times, they're taking them to Luceric when they need to be taking them to Parkland. And I am the only lifelong Democrat in this race. So, please, come out and vote for Sophia Graham for Dallas County Constable's Office, Precinct number 5.
I've actually really enjoyed it. I've had a lot of fun tonight, to be quite frank with you guys. But once again, I'm Constable Michael Roscoe, and I'm up for my 3rd re-election. And everybody talks about in life, do you have good credit? I have phenomenal political credit. I have 32 active elected officials that have endorsed my candidacy. Every organization that's given us the opportunity to present ourselves for an endorsement, I've won them all. So I am the true Democrat in this race, okay? I have 6 state reps. I have Congresswoman Julie Johnson, State Senator Royce West, Sheriff Marion Brown, Dr. Elba Garcia. I have 9 of the 14 city council people. I do have ideas for truancy. Every year, I've met with Judge Jenkins to fix and rectify it. And that's why I have 6 DISD school board trustees that have endorsed me, because they believe in the plan that I want to implement if we get truancy back with the constable's office. I'm a lifelong resident of Dallas Precinct 5. I'm a proud United States Marine. Graduate of Woodrow Wilson High School. My kids went there. Actually was inducted into the Woodrow Hall of Fame for the accomplishments that we have done at Precinct 5 and my commitment to community. We raised this last year on an organization called Woodrow Fest, $50,000. They go to the feeder schools, elementary schools. And some other things that I'm very proud of. I have never, ever been fired from law enforcement. And I'm very proud of that. I have an honorable record of service. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. You can search me on Facebook under my personal page, Michael Orozco, Constable Michael Orozco, www.michaelorozco.com as well. And I'm on Instagram under Constable Michael Orozco.
All right, and one last announcement. Give a round of applause if I can. And one final announcement for the evening. Tonight is the last night of Monday Night Politics. As you may have seen on the schedule, next week we were supposed to have Monday Night Politics, and that was dedicated to Republican candidates. Unfortunately, Dallas Examiner received notice that there were no candidates available for next week. So we will not be here next week to hear any Republican candidates that decided to come or did not decide to come. So with that, tonight is the last night. The next time you will see Monday Night Politics, it will be hosting the Dallas School Board races and bond program. That will be in April, and that information will be sent out to you shortly. But again, thank you for coming out. Thank you to all the candidates. Thank you for the audience. Thank you for being a part of this. Give yourself a round of applause. You are wonderful. You are great. Hopefully you left here educated. And with that, we say good night and safe travels.